Every cell in your body runs on energy. And that energy comes from one place, your mitochondria. If your mitochondria are underperforming, nothing else works properly. Not your brain, not your muscles, not your hormones, not your immune system. Aging, at its core, is an energy problem. We talk about wrinkles, we talk about hormones, we talk about inflammation. But underneath all of that is mitochondrial decline. Let's break this down simply. Mitochondria produce ATP through oxidative phosphorylation. They regulate reactive oxygen species. They control apoptosis. They influence inflammation. They regulate metabolic flexibility. And as we age, mitochondrial DNA accumulates damage. Biogenesis decreases. Fusion and fission dynamics become impaired. Oxidative stress increases. Efficiency drops, which means you produce less energy and more waste. And when energy production drops, fatigue increases, fat gain accelerates, insulin sensitivity worsens, recovery slows, brain fog appears. This is why some people do everything right and still feel older than they should. Because energy systems are broken. Now here's the important part. You cannot supplement your way out of a mitochondrial dysfunction. I keep saying this. You stimulate mitochondrial to demand, right? Mitochondrial responds to stress, specifically muscle contraction, oxygen demand, metabolic switching, temperature stress. The strongest stimulus for mitochondrial biogenesis is resistance training, not endless cardio, not walking. High-intensity muscle contractions activate AMPK and PGC1 alpha, the master regulator of mitochondrial biogenesis. Zone 2 cardio improves efficiency and fat oxidation. Intervals improve maximum oxygen utilization. But the biggest mistake people make is thinking fatigue means rest. Chronic fatigue often means deconditioned mitochondria. Now let's talk damage. What destroys mitochondria? Chronic hyperglycemia, sedentary lifestyle, sleep deprivation, chronic inflammation, visceral fat accumulation, too much alcohol, environmental toxins, and yes, aging itself. But aging is not passive. It is a cumulative stress on the cells without sufficient adaptive stimulus. Now here's where it gets interesting. Hormones influence mitochondria. Testosterone increases mitochondrial density in muscle. Estrogen improves mitochondrial efficiency. Thyroid hormones regulate mitochondrial turnover. So if someone is hormonally deficient, mitochondrial repair becomes harder. But hormones alone do not fix the energy system. Training does. Protein supports repair. Creatine improves cellular energy buffering. Cold exposure can stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis. Heat exposure improves heat shock protein response, right? That's why we like the sauna a couple times a week, 3 times a week if you can. Strategic peptide therapies, when appropriate, can target mitochondrial signaling pathways. But none of that works without mechanical demand, without that stress we need. You cannot outsource mitochondrial repair. You have to earn it. The goal is not to feel less tired. The goal is to increase cellular capacity. Here is the framework. Lift heavy 3 to 4 times a week. And this is for you too, ladies. Please, add zone 2 twice weekly. At short intervals, once weekly. Maintain stable blood glucose. Prioritize deep sleep. Ensure adequate protein. Support hormones if clinically necessary. Then and only then consider advanced adjuncts. Because longevity is not about hacking. It's about restoring cellular energy. When mitochondria function well, you think clearer, you recover faster, you store less fat, you tolerate stress better, you age slower. Energy equals resilience. Resilience equals longevity. Fix your mitochondria, and everything else starts working. Ignore them, and nothing does. Thank you. Share. If you haven't, join the tribe. Till next time, we keep going deeper, we keep rocking.